Hello YouTube, welcome to Gamers Initiative. I'm Austin.
And I'm Jesse, and today we'll be talking about the Walking Dead board game, as you can see, based off the TV show, not the comic. Yeah. And as you can tell, big Walking Dead fans over here.
Definitely we got a lot of the comics actually.
Yeah.
Such good comics.
I agree. I totally agree.
TV show did not destroy the comic series.
No, they did a phenomenal job. Other than Doctor Who, of course. Come on.
Right.
But what we're here to talk about today is the Walking Dead board game. It is put out by Cryptozoic. It's a 4-player game. And it takes about 30-45 minutes to play. And so let's crack into this and see what we got in here. So, for the components, the first thing I really want to bust out here is this play mat. Oh my gosh,
it's good.
I love this mat. It's not your typical game board. It's a nice, soft mat.
Kind of feels like a mouse pad mat.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like that, and it holds the theme really well. Got some really cool pictures from different zombies that have been on the show, which is cool. It's a really thematic game.
Does it have Bicycle Girl?
Yeah, right there.
Ah.
Bicycle Girl. Yeah. But this game really holds the theme really well. When you play this game, you really get immersed into it. You really feel like you're in the show. I mean, at least for me. What do you think?
I think so too, because I mean, you start off. Well, and when we played, what mode did we play? Do you remember?
We played survival mode.
Okay. Well, anyway, we was all on the same team.
Right.
And then one of us turned into a zombie, and then he tried to kill us. So you start off all on the same team in survival mode, and then it can change drastically where you got 4 zombies and maybe 1 just regular human, and sometimes it can get pretty difficult.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's just like the show. When you die in this game, you come back as a zombie, and your job is to eat everyone else.
Yep.
If you're the zombie, you devour everyone else. Zombies win. Now, for all of us humans, what you want to do is get around the board and collect. There are little tokens on each corner here. One for the CDC, the police station, there's a car lot, and a department store. And first one to get around the board and collect all 4 tokens and get back to camp in the center of the board, humans win. You got it down. Now, as you can tell here, there are different spaces here. Like this one right here, it's a +2 with a little round of an end of a round.
Right.
And it says +2. That is going to go for your attack strength when you fight the zombies. Normally, when you fight a zombie, you'll.
Where'd you go?
Oh, here we go. You roll this really nifty red die. Really, I like it when when a game puts in different kind of dice that seem to fit. Nice blood red die.
Yeah.
And you'll roll a die, and then whatever the number is, that's your attack strength. But if you're on that spot here, you get to add that to your roll, and you can also play different cards from your hand, which are, like in the show, things you find along the way that you carry with you, that you can use against the zombies in any way you may. Each has its own benefits and different strengths, which is fantastic. Every time you land on a spot, you take an encounter, unless you land on a spot that says no encounter. And you'll also get to draw scrounge cards when you win a fight. Not all of them, of course. There are some that won't, but or you land on a spot that says draw a scrounge card. Scrounge cards are the items that you pick up along the way to help, as seen here. These are some good examples. The handgun over here, as you can see, has got a +3 strength. You got the rifle in the middle, which has a higher strength. And then you've got the crossbow, which is nifty.
Yeah, those are
for a different strength, and the different weapons will, in some cases, have really cool different abilities to go along with them. Like the nifty crossbow here. Special ability on the bottom. If you win the fight and you roll a 5 or a 6, you get to put this card back in your hand to use it again for another fight, which comes in handy because, like in the show, resources are limited and they go quick. So you want to try to find a way to get those cards back in your hand if you can.
It's really fun when we run out because then everybody's like, "Oh, I need some resources," and we're all fighting over resources.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of that, you saw the scrounge deck. Now, for the encounter deck. The encounter deck is basically filled with different zombies and zombie situations that you will come across that you have to deal with along the way. For instance, say you've got walkers at your door. It's a 4 and you're thinking, "Oh, no biggie. I'll play a couple of cards. I roll 1. It's not a big deal." But it is, because if you see on the bottom here, if it wants to autofocus.
Guess not.
Well, apologize for the autofocus, but it says that you cannot play cards when you go against walkers at the door. So getting that 4 has just become a little bit harder for you to maintain and get. But then you have other situations, like in the show, you're not going to get along with everybody. You're just not. You're going to have conflicts with people. So they put these nifty little cards in there. Personality conflict, which is not good either, but for a different reason. It'll either get you to discard 2 random scrounge cards, which are your precious resources, or you have to put 1 of your allies back. And your allies are sort of like your armor. It gives you a buffer between you and the zombie. You start out with 2 allies. So you get bit, okay, 1 ally goes away. Fine. You lost a party member. Another 1 party member goes again. Now you've got no more allies. You get bit this time, you're turning. And you'll come back to feast on your friend's brains. So, and then they have really crazy stuff like this. Unlooted area. Where it's nothing bad happens. You just show up, you find this unlooted area, and you loot the area and get some scrounge cards. Good deal. Or say this one here, which is a no-brainer, rescue a survivor. You hit that strength of 9, you gain an ally to put in your bank so your party grows a little bit more, which is fantastic. There's also deserted streets, where you get this card, nothing happens. You just find an empty street. So it's good. You want to try to get some of those if you can.
Here's one that I find interesting. If you guys remember that part in the show where Glenn and Rick actually, they cut up dead bodies of
dead
zombies
zombie to wear as camouflage.
Yeah. So they got neat little things like that on the cards, which is really cool. Actual things from the movie, or the TV show rather.
Yeah, exactly. It's a fantastic, it stays with the theme all the way. I mean, every picture is from the show, which I can totally appreciate that, with how much time they spent on this game, keeping everything so closely tied to the show itself.
Right.
Which is wonderful. Now, on the other hand, let's just say, you're playing, you're down on your luck, you die. You get back up. Time to eat some friends. Well, then you will draw from the Walker deck, which will let you do crazy and terrible things to your one-time friends that you had when you were living, where you can play other encounters on their turn to come at them. Like this one here, it's a level 8. When your resources are running low, trying to get an 8 on a 6-sided die, that's rough. And it's hard to keep those resources when you got them coming at you constantly over and over and over with these high encounters, or they use the abilities on those cards to do other things.
Yeah, all the ones that we're seeing 6, 5, 7s, and 8s.
Oh yeah, nothing low at all. Yeah. You're out there doing what a zombie does, and you're out to eat, devour, and destroy all humans. And I mean, these cards also have different abilities, which is cool. I mean, this says this one here, as you can see, it's a encounter of 8. It's a sudden walker, and so that you can play only one of this card in a fight. Understandable. I mean, it'd be pretty crazy if you're like 8, 8, 8. Well, crap.
Dead.
I don't know what I'm gonna do here. So that's crazy. And
there's nothing you really.
The balancing in this game is really good. They balance it well, so it's not like, oh, it's an easy win for anybody. No. I mean, honestly, every time we've ever pulled out a win, I feel like we just squeaked in there barely with a win. We came out by the skin of our teeth. It's
the first couple of times we played. Let's just say the zombies won. Humans didn't stand a chance. Not in those games.
We did not have a good run on that at all. Unfortunately, we didn't survive the apocalypse. Now, one of the beauty things is, like any cool game, you got your characters and your character powers, all from the show, of course. First one here, and personally one of my favorite characters, Mr. Rick Grimes. And as you can see, down on the bottom of the card, it says special ability. That is a once per game ability that you can use, as it's stated, once the entire game. He'll let you re-roll an attack and add 2 to it. So you're in a pinch, you need to get that higher roll. Well, you can risk a re-roll and hope you don't roll a 1, and then get that +2 to it. Fantastic. We can also play as Glenn, also a cool dude. And their once per games are very tied to who their characters are too.
I'm gonna add, I am surprised Maggie's not on there with him.
Well, these are all first season cast from the looks of these pictures.
True, but still, I mean, you know.
Well, they don't have a lot of great characters too, which
well, they do have Then
of course we'll let you talk about this guy.
Yeah.
You seemed a lot. He was one of your personal favorites at the time.
So, at the time, Shane Walsh was my absolute favorite until he died. Kind of went crazy though. But his special ability is once per game, each player gives him a scrounge card from his or her deck, or hand rather. But
from your region, I believe it says, right? Your region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the region.
What that means here is. What that means is from here. Wait, other side.
Sorry about this, guys.
From here to about there. That is one region. This entire corner is one region. And this entire corner is one region. So if you're in their region, Chase is like, hey, guess what? Forget you guys. Give me your stuff. And then you do it because you don't really have a choice.
Now, what would be cool is if when you open the box, if the theme song started playing, that would be kind of cool.
That would be ninja if they had a way to actually play the theme song while you're playing the game, or had like a soundtrack like some board games have. I think that's really nifty, and it helps bring out the theme and the environment just a little bit more.
Just thought of that, actually.
Yeah, and of course you have you've got Dale, the old timer with the RV. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
The moral compass of the group, and his once per game, he can shuffle any number of scrounge cards from his hand into the scrounge deck, and then draw as many as he put in. So if you don't like, because it's like, look, I don't like what I have. These resources are not working for me. I'll try again. Then, of course, you got Andrea. She kind of annoyed me a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah, but I still didn't really care for her, to be honest.
Right. And her once per game is you can re-roll your move and add 2 to your move. Or Rick adds to your attack, she will add to your move. And another thing that I think is absolutely fantastic about this, which just goes back to how much theme they put in this game. If you look right there, those are actual quotes from the show that character actually says. And Rick says, stay focused and make sure you got around in the chamber, which you would recognize from the very beginning of the show before the apocalypse happened.
Chains, if I can get it. Nobody goes anywhere alone. That's what he said.
Which is actually quite wise advice.
Yeah.
Before he went a little bonkers and off the deep end.
Yeah, because then he didn't want anybody to go anywhere alone, or anybody to go anywhere without him.
Eventually it shifted and it was bad. And of course, the reason for all the chaos, our next player, Lori Grimes, Rick's wife. And her once per game, she can move any survivor 1 space. Which, once again, ties into the theme. Because their once per games are tied to their character and what their character would actually do, in my opinion. Like,
yeah.
Rick is like, dude, need to boost my attack. Boom! Bust out my Cold Python and start blowing some heads off. Shane,
you know, he was the guy that wanted to go get resources and wanted to hold on to stuff, and, you know.
He didn't care. I mean, eventually he got to the point where he didn't care who he got them from or how he got them.
No.
And that's true to his character.
And, you know, he did some awful, awful things, which we don't want to spoil. But
we don't want any spoilers here, but as you can tell just from us going through this review, we love this show so much. Now, when you're playing with all 4 players and you're playing survival mode, in survival mode, we all start as human and we try to make it around the board, get our 4 tokens, and get back to camp. Well, once 2 people have died, their survivors get these nifty Team Survivor badges, just as a little bit of theme, and you got the Rick Sheriff badge there. Then, of course, for Team Zombie, you've got the Team Zombie badges, and it says, don't open, dead inside. As you would, if you're a fan of the show, you would recognize that from when Rick woke up in the hospital. Now, the tokens we keep talking so much about are fantastic. They each give you their own ability.
For instance, try to get to focus there. There, abandoned car lot. You may add 1 to your move roll. So that's pretty good. Then we got the department store, where you gain an ally.
Which is also
pretty good.
Very thematic in its own right too, because it makes sense. It's not like, oh, you go to an open field, you find people. No, you go to a mall, and that seems like a place where people would go for cover and safety. So of course you get an ally there. Car lot makes sense. You pick up a car, you go, your movement goes up. Now, the other places you can go here are the nifty police station, and as true to theme, the police station will add 1 to your attack rolls because you can pick up some nifty guns. And of course, last but of course not least, you've got the nifty CDC here, as you would know from the show. And that allows you to draw 2 scrounge cards. Makes sense. You're at the CDC. You need some resources. They've got them, so pick up 2 scrounge cards and keep yourself alive.
One thing I like about the CDC is the way that they actually made the CDC look like what you would think it would look like. It was just some of the things they had there. For example, you know, the mega computer they had there
Right, in the show.
That was pretty sweet. I don't know if they actually have that, but that would be awesome if they did.
But you can see them having that.
Yes,
which is cool.
They should have something, more advanced than what us civilians
And of course, on the very bottom of the map, here, there's spaces for the scrounge deck and the encounter deck that you place on the bottom of the map, which is fantastic. And of course, you've got your own figures here. Here's the one when I play, I go for Rick. So you know what? Watch out, because I'm coming for Rick. He's my dude.
I choose Shane. You better watch out. He might go crazy.
No, you mean he will go crazy.
Yeah.
It's a definite thing. Now, the cool thing is, the allies that we keep talking about, they all have different images from the show, which is actually pretty awesome. This one here, this ally here, is of Rick and a guy he met who actually saved his life during first season, which is a guy named Morgan.
Then we've got the one. Let's see if you can see that. Maybe not. No, you can see it a little bit. But Lori and her son,
Carl. Yes, Carl's the son, and then of course you've got Glenn and Amy, which is Andrea's sister, and those are just different types of allies. They don't have any special powers or anything. They're just there to mix it up so you don't look at the same image all the time, which I think is cool. I like it. It's got enough variety for me, so I'm not looking at the same thing all the time, but at the same time, it's not too easy. It's one of those games where it's hard, but I like it because it fits the theme, and I really do feel like I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do? I'm running out of resources. I need to do something. I got zombies coming at me. Oh man, this is crazy. I gotta get all 4 tokens to get back to camp.
What I would say out of 10 for us, for me at least, is 8.
Nice. Why would you give it an 8?
Just because of the thematics that it has and the gameplay and the overall simplicity, but yet it's not simple. It's simple, but yet it's not simple. And why I say that is because the way you play it's simple, but yet to win,
stay alive.
Yeah, and stay alive. That's not really that simple.
Exactly. So why not higher? If you like it so much. I
don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I just think for me it would be an 8.
Okay. Good deal.
That's just my honest opinion.
That's cool. That's what we're here for. We're here to be honest and give you guys the truth of that we think on this game when we play them. And for me, I would say I like it a little bit more. It's more like an 8.5, so an 8.5. Big fan of the show. It really brings the show through when you're playing this game. I feel like I'm in the show.
Yeah, they got some other Walking Dead games that's not exactly as good.
Not as good, but they have different characters from later seasons. But this one's fantastic. Highly recommended. And of course, I gotta say, I mean, you know me. I love a good way to store your components without them sliding all over the place and a mess, and you have to sort them all out again. Well, this has got great storage, as you can see. As I make a mess. So you got the scrounge card, you got the encounter cards, the scrounge cards, place for the walker deck. You got your character cards here. You've got the character tokens and the allies, and over here you got the your CDC and your police station, things like that, and your team badges. So this is actually really well organized.
Down here at the bottom, that's where you roll the mat up and put it in there.
Agreed. Yeah, it's so the organization is really great. The rule book also fits with the blood and the handprint and cool stuff like that. This rule book is easy to understand. It's not hard at all. I've read some rule books, so it's just like,
really?
What am I reading? I don't even get this game.
Too big words.
I had to ask people who had played the game before how to play the game because I couldn't understand the rule book. It's insane. But this rule book is great. It's clear. It's concise. Easy to understand. Great game. I would recommend this for just about anybody. If you're a big fan of the show, I highly recommend it for all you out there.
Right.
You would think something like this would have blood and guts. It's really not that. Doesn't really have all the blood and guts. It has the survival aspect to it, which I love. So for me, I would say this is a really good game, and you should all go out there and check it out.
Check it out. And for our next review, which we'll be posting today as well, is not really a review. It's actually going to be our first gameplay of Zero. So make sure you check that out as well.
Which we did a review on last time.
Yeah, it was a video. It should be the tutorial before this. The video before this.
Yes, it's the previous review.
So, you guys check us out. Thanks for watching. Happy
Happy
gaming.
gaming.